Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Paul Jasson with you on what as we tape our show today is a beautiful day in downtown Lancaster. We are of course in the lobby of Fairfield Federal. Glad you're with us. We like to think it won't be very long before the Lancaster Festival. I mean, it'll be on us before you know it. They've already announced the talent for the upcoming events and all that. Will be so much happening right behind us at the gazebo in downtown. We all know about the art walk and everything, so we're looking forward to all that as we look ahead. But we're going to begin the show today with what I think is, for me, it's a real pleasure to talk about this subject. Somebody that I got to know very well many years ago was Fred Hillman. That may ring a bell with you. Fred was the owner and operator of Lancaster Sales down on 33 South when it was about the only game in town where you could get all kind of things in one location. It was quite a store. Well, the young lady we're going to talk to today wrote a book about that. She worked there for Fred, wrote a book about it, and I just heard about it, so I'm having her on for the first time today. It's Pam Croft. Pam, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And I think we talked before we went on. I was almost ashamed to admit that you wrote this book 5 years ago, and I didn't know anything about it. I just found out about it from our mutual friend on TV, Amy Carpenter, who did a little segment on you, which was very nice. And I found out about that, and I said, Fred Hillman, wait a minute. And I said, man, I got to have her on. So congratulations for writing the book.
Thank you.
You worked there how many years?
23.
23.
Yep.
And I think, and if you read the book, you can read about some of this. You had what I would call a love-hate relationship with Fred Hillman. You were there on and off several times.
Right. It was a family-oriented environment because he didn't have any family, so he considered us his family.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that the first years I worked there because I really was still young and
just a job.
Yes. And so when we'd get in a fight or if I didn't like the way he was treating me because he had his moods, I just up and said, okay, I'm done. But every day from Sugar Grove to Lancaster, I had to drive by there, and I was like missing him and the store. So I would eventually start going in for little things and see if he would even talk to me. And finally, when I broke the ice to get back that way, he would always say, put a little thing in like, when are you coming back? Mm. And that's why I put that in the title of the book.
And the title of the book is?
Give a little bit, when are you coming back?
Okay, we got a picture that we'll put that up there too. It's a great book. Let's mention first, where can people purchase this book?
The Frame Shop, she's got copies, Cindy, and which I'm thankful. And then you can get it through the Publisher Authors Press or Amazon.
Okay. It's just a heck of a book about somebody that I consider just a tremendous businessman here in Lancaster, Fairfield County. And again, my first memories are, I think you said he might have opened with a tent, and we've got a little ditty we can show you about that too. But that was maybe in the mid-50s, 1957, so I was about 10 years old then. My father would take me down there, and it was just a big tent, and it pretty much, as I remember, kind of all Army supplies. I didn't know anything about Army stuff. That's probably why my dad liked it, because it was more Army stuff, which is kind of how he started. And then eventually got that into the building that became GI Depot. That was his first building. And then he built the other big building there too. And now you worked in the bigger building?
I started out in the big building.
Okay.
And then the last, I'm going to say 13 years is when I had to relieve someone for lunch at the GI Depot. And I always liked Army movies and Army shows. Well, when I got over there for the lunch hour to let the manager go, I just was like, oh, I want to be over here. So he came over to visit, and I was just like super excited and acted just so good and funny with him with this store that he said, why don't we put her over there the rest, of the
Perfect.
time? And I was
Perfect.
so happy, and that's why I didn't leave
Yeah.
anymore.
You were in an
Jack.
environment you really liked.
Well, and then when he was in bad moods, he was always over at LS. And we would call over and say, what kind of mood? And so we knew to keep busy if we saw him crossing over. If he wasn't crossing over, we could just kind of relax. And
Well, like I say, he was an iconic businessman early on before even Kmart or any of those places came in. Whenever you needed anything, no matter where you lived in Lancaster, you just drove down there to the south end of Lancaster because LS had it for you. Whether it's plumbing or electrical, they were kind of like Slaters. They just had everything, and they would help you with it, and the people there were more than helpful. And I think it's important to talk about, as a young person, what I remember about him was he had those numbers on his arm, which as a young person, of course, I didn't know what that meant. I came to find out about that with his connection with the Holocaust and all that. But he really had a deep-seated involvement in that with his family, didn't he?
yes, he did. The number on his arm, a lot of people would look at, and he was okay with that. But if you would ask about that number, he wouldn't, he wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
So his family was in the
yes,
was in a concentration camp.
He had his father, his mother, and 2 other brothers. And
All of them were in.
yes, his father, he had relatives that came to America and said, you need to get out of there. And his father had a hosiery business and said, no, it's not going to get that bad. And so then it did, and they all had gone, forced to go, and they separated. And he was I believe a block builder is what I've gotten
Fred.
over yes.
Yeah.
And that's what helped him. But he never saw his family again. And when the war was over, he came over to New York because he had cousins and aunts and uncles that had left.
Sure.
So they helped him get started. And I thought he sold newspapers in New York.
Do you know whatever got him to Lancaster?
He went and scoped the area because he knew people in Columbus, and he liked the hills down, the hills that reminded him of home in Austria.
Yeah.
So
That's where he was born and grew up for
Yes.
a while. Yeah. Well, I remember the store so well. Like I say, he started out as a tent, it became that store, and then he actually ended up, as I remember, opened 2 more stores. He had not only had the LS store down here in south of Lancaster, but then had one in Logan and down in Nelsonville. So he kind of spread out there a little bit.
and the plaza at the main one in Lancaster, he also built those
Little
buildings
strip mall on the
to
side
start.
there.
Yeah.
It was just a heck of a business down there. Now, what department did you work in?
When I was at the big store, I was a cashier.
Okay, just a cashier.
Yes.
Okay.
I originally thought I was going in for an office job because I got laid off at Lancaster Glass. And that's what I took in school and everything. And I was excited, but people said, you want to be careful down there with him. And so then I learned I was a cashier, and that was horrible because I was not a good cashier.
Not a people person with that,
The
doing
money.
all that. Yeah.
I didn't even know how to count money back.
That'd be a downside to being a cashier. So this is Pam Croft. She's with us. She's the author of Give a Little Bit, When Are You Coming Back? Which, again, leads back to the thing where there were times when you left and you always came back and left and came back. But I can remember they had, you would always go there. They were one of the first places that had a giant shoe department down there, as I remember. They had Carhartts before most people even knew what Carhartts were. I think he was a little bit ahead of the curve. But I think he saw things that were trends and tried to get involved in that. And then there were other things that I think he had in there that nobody in their right mind would get, but Fred would get them in and he'd sell them.
Yes, he would. And the parking lot sales, I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah, just out in the lot there. Yeah.
Those were a big thing with the grasshopper shoes, and yes, they would fight over them.
Yeah, and I remember they had like nurses. I can't.
Oh yeah,
scrubs. They had a lot of
Yes.
scrubs down there early on before there
Yeah.
were specialty stores. You could. They just figured out what they could do down there. So on and off, how many years did you work there?
23.
23 years. And as you look back now, you probably think you were pretty fortunate.
Oh, I was blessed. Yes. And then the last 5 years after Isis died is when I really started
Isis was his wife.
getting closer with him, driving him and taking care of him. And
Because his health kind of failed after
yes.
that. Was he pretty good up to that point and then kind of
Yes.
went down? Because I remember, I think he had a Cadillac, kind of a nice car he always drove around. It wasn't ostentatious in any way. You certainly wouldn't have known he probably had as much money as what he did. But he didn't live that elaborate lifestyle, but he'd have a nice car. But then his health kind of went down once his wife passed away.
yes, very, very bad. And it took probably 2 years to get him he never did get back to normal, but almost back to normal.
Don't I remember his wife had a lengthy illness too? Didn't that last?
She did, and he was by her side
Yeah.
continuously. And
still ran the business?
oh, he would come dragging in we were open till 9, and 8 o'clock he'd come dragging in, and I just felt so bad for him.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a difficult time because no children, so this was really, his whole life was her.
And there's the part in the book how, to give a little bit, one night he came in and we were working, and everybody was scared to even get near him because of the long day he had had.
Sure.
Well, I was just so happy to see him. I went out and hugged him, and that just changed our whole relationship.
Yeah. Well, I know the people down there were always more than friendly. No matter what kind of relationship they may have had with Fred then, but the staff was always very good. You could always go in there. They were very helpful, and he probably demanded that of the staff, that they be helpful and be pleasant, even if he didn't want to. And I remember he was always right inside the door when you'd walk in. He was always standing there kind of overseeing everything. He knew everything about the business.
And he wanted to know his customers too.
Yeah.
As he greeted you, and every morning he would come through the door and say good morning, but you could tell by the good morning whether it was going to be a good day or bad day.
Well, we'll put up a picture of the book. Shane will get that. We'll put it up. It's Pam Croft. Give a little bit. When are you coming back? Again, the place down here, just a few blocks from here. Frame Shops would have that in there. It's a great place. I'd go in and recommend getting it. It's a small book. It's a quick read. It's a great book. I encourage you to get it. And where else did you say it was, or available online?
Through Authors Press, the publisher, or Amazon.
Amazon, okay. Thanks for being with
Thank
us.
you
I've
for having
loved
me.
talking to you and talking about Fred again. He was one of my favorite people. I just thought he was just such a wonderful guy that had just, I never asked him about the story because I felt if he wanted to share it, he would, and he never did. But, you knew there was something there, but he kept it very internal.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah. Well, Pam Croft, who had a great career down at Lancaster Sales, LS down there, and thanks for writing the book. I'm glad we can keep this memorial of Fred and the business and of your time down there. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
Sure. We'll be back on Fairfield Today.
The staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairfield what it is.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
The reason why I do what I do is I love helping people, and I really love to work on understanding and striving to improve the lives of the people in our community. Being in Fairfield County is having a network of people around you.
I am driven by my belief that every individual deserves an opportunity to achieve mental and emotional balance, and I'm very passionate about contributing to that process.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference. Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hello friends, welcome back to Fairfield Today. One of the events for 11 years that's been going on here, and it's just grown and grown and gotten bigger and bigger, and I'm real pleased about that, is it used to be just, I think it was just once upon a time, we'll check on that, this is called Community Days Festival. It's at the fairgrounds and all that is still the same, but now it's the Lancaster, Ohio Community Days Festival. It's going on May 17th, 18th, and 19th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know they're hoping for a day just like this when we're taping today, but we've got the chairman of the whole shooting match down there, Eric Keener. Eric, welcome.
Good morning.
Get our annual event on here. Now, I know there's more to the title than I gave her. So as much as I knew, it's the Lancaster, Ohio Community Days Festival.
Yes, but the event in itself is sponsored by the Westside United Neighbors Block Watch. We're a nonprofit. We've been together now for about 15 years, just trying to raise some extra funds to make our neighborhoods a little bit better over on the west side and plus across the city.
And that's what I kind of remember when I kind of got involved in this years ago. It had the West Side connection, and that kind of drew me to it because I've always been pro-West Side here in town. It's always been at the fairgrounds, and gosh, it seems to be getting bigger and better every year. I know you guys probably look to how can we improve it every year. I'm sure you have a meeting when it's over and then before it's coming up, and then what can we do to add to it. I know you change ride companies. Lots of things have moved, but this is going to be a pretty big festival.
It is, to be honest with you. I mean, like you said, it is our 11th year, so I mean, we made that 10-year mark, and that's phenomenal for us to be still functioning the way it is, because we had a lot of people saying it just wasn't going to happen, it was never going to work. Well, we made it work. We're in our 11th year. It's held at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds, and it has grown from a very small little festival to now we're getting our phones are just blowing up this year of the community. The community is finally recognizing that we are here, and local businesses are wanting to come in and they want to participate with us somehow, just set up a booth, just advertise for themselves. Last year we were just shy of 10,000 people that came to our event last year, and considering the first year we were lucky to get 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. So 11 years later, we're hoping to get over that 10,000 mark and just keep plugging forward more.
So, and I know one thing we talked about now, we'll talk about the pricing thing here. Cars still free.
Yes.
Parking is free. Got the big fairgrounds parking lot there. You got free cars to get in. And now the admission cost is?
Okay, so here's where we're at for this year. Made a little bit of a change. So it's going to be maybe just a little bit of a sticker shock. But in the previous past, we did $5 to get in, but then you had to pay $25 for a ride wristband. So we got hooked up with our ride company, Cicchetti Amusement Company. We are going to charge $12 at the gate. That is all inclusive
Young,
for
old.
each day. Young, old, it is $12, and that's going to get you a wristband so you can walk right in and go ride rides. It is all inclusive. There's no $12 at the gate, then pay another fee just to go get ride rides. No, that is for everything that goes on that day at the fairgrounds. And that is your ticket to come and go as you please for our 12-hour event, because most days, we're 12 hours that we operate in.
What were the hours too?
So Friday, we're going to open up at 4 o'clock and we'll go to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Saturday, we will open up right around 11 and we will go till 10. And Sunday, we will open up at 11 also and we will go until 6 o'clock in the evening. So,
good hours. The only thing you can't control, I know you hope for a day like this, because I know that makes a big deal when you got good weather.
Oh, absolutely.
And in May, should be good weather.
We're hoping. We moved a little bit further into the month, which has helped us with the weather, and that's always the big thing, because, if it's raining, no one comes out. But, yeah, we got some pretty big things. We're always changing things up. We always have music entertainment.
At the grandstand?
No, we don't use the grandstands.
Okay.
We just haven't got big enough to move into the grandstand.
So you put stages up on
We moved our stage this year down by the cattle barn. We're utilizing that hunk of grass area down there.
Sure.
Friday night, it's a kind of a country theme this year for us, right? Okay. So both these gentlemen that were going to be singing for us on Friday and Saturday night are out of West Virginia, my home state.
Okay.
The first one is Cody Clayton Eagle. He was on American Idol. So that's a pretty big plug for him. He's trying to get into the big business, and he's got some songs out on the radio. And he's playing Friday night, starts at 7.
Okay.
Saturday night, starting at 7 o'clock too, is a Corey Hager. And he's got some entertainment out there that's on the radios also. He's opened up for some pretty name acts, and I'm sorry I forget some of the acts off the top of my head right now, but that's a pretty big thing for us also. Saturday also, we have the Cincinnati Circus will be participating with us. They will have 4 shows, and all that time factors will be listed onto our Facebook page, but they're going to have acrobats and jugglers and ground acts that will be going on, and their show will last about an hour, and we'll have 4 different shows throughout the day, and that's all free. Basically, once you pay your $12 to come in, everything that's going on for each particular day, you get free reign to watch it multiple times, do what you want, Then, of course, we have our food vendors, it's just like the county fair. We have all assortment of different style of foods in there. We have retail vendors, and there's games and stuff like that you'll have to, pay if you want anything to eat, of course, or the games.
So, and again, it's May 17th, 18th, and 19th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Down at the Lancaster Fairgrounds, just a few blocks from here. Hope for beautiful weather like this when you started out. And again, I think we've just seen it, obviously, with the amount of people you've got coming in. People are getting aware of it now. Maybe they're just waking up to this is more than just a little an hour event that you go to and spend a little time. You could spend some time there.
Absolutely. We want to make memories for the families and stuff. We want something else that happens in this town so the family can go to. So, even on Sunday, we have a car show. They came into us last year. The Lancaster car scene is what they are. They're out of Carroll, Ohio. They were kind of a last-minute thing for us last year, and it was a really big hit. I believe we had 165 cars come in for that. Wow. And that drew a pretty big crowd from all ages, young and old. Like I said, it's a fundraising activity for the West Side Block Watch. We take our money and we donate to a lot of different things.
I was going to ask you, so you raise this money. What are some of the things you might use that for?
One of our big ones. So we have the Camp William McKinley, the Civil War cannon down here. That small group, they actually help us out during the event. They help us manage the gates a little bit, and in back hindsight, we donate money to help them support that cannon to do maintenance and travel expenses because they travel different places in Ohio.
A little bit.
So donate there. The Lancaster Police Department, we're eyes and ears for them. The Fairfield County Sheriff's Department, we've donated money to them, to the K-9 program, along to the police department, bought them equipment, different things. The food pantries here in town. Nice. The schools, during the summer there's a reading programs that we donate to get the kids into reading throughout the summer. Oh boy, there's been a lot, holiday season, we donate Christmas gifts and we buy dinners, for less fortunate families out of the schools. Usually the principal will tell us who really needs the help,
Sure.
who really is down on their luck. So we try to do it anonymously, but it's okay,
So you originally, like we say, you really kind of started out on the west side, right? It was
Yes.
just a block watch kind of group that
Yes.
kind of came up with this idea of maybe we need to step it up a little bit.
Yes, you want to make changes in your neighborhood. It takes some money, and it's just plain simple. You can ask city for money, but they're not going to come off of funds for a whole lot of different things. So, trying to make the community a little bit better in different aspects, and trees and sidewalks and different things. So, it takes money to do that. So, in order to do that, say, how about we put on in an event that we can raise some funds off of? So, that. To us, that's a big thing,
Sure.
And hopefully this year, by our fee increasing it, it might seem a lot, but you are actually, as a family of 4 coming in, you will save about $35 on the back end.
If you had to buy those game tickets separately.
Right, if you had to buy them separately, because they were going to bump them to $30 this year.
Oh.
So by doing that, and and we're splitting the cost, the gate, between us and the ride company. So if we have 10,000 people come in at 12. We will split that after the fees, through the processing fees, through the credit cards and everything else that come through. Then we will split that, which will help us immensely, one, grow the event. We can put some bigger entertainment in it. 2, we can definitely make a lot more bigger changes in our neighborhood, to do better, do for the good.
Eric Keener is with us. Eric is the kind of the chairman of the Community Days Festival, which will be May 17, 18, and 19 down at the fairgrounds. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Go to their Facebook page. They've got a lot of good information on there about the car shows coming. You got that going on. And some of the things you have in there, I know you have lots of places to eat. Do you have like some swap meets or anything else going on in there?
No, not this year. We've tried it in the past, and it just didn't quite work out for us.
Draw.
Wasn't a big draw, but it doesn't mean that we won't revisit it down the road.
Sure.
See how that works out for us. So.
Yeah, I imagine you're flexible. People probably throughout the year say, "I wish you had that. I wish you'd have done
absolutely.
that." Or why did you do that? You used to. So you probably listen to all that and then make your decisions.
And we do. We listen to a lot of what the public tells us. Get some really great ideas. We've tried them. Sometimes they didn't work, and
Sure.
sometimes they have worked for us. And we pride ourselves on trying to be different every year in our entertainment that we come in. Music, it's always going to be different, of course, but we always try to put at least one ground attraction in there that's just a little bit different from everybody else. Like last year, we had the laser light show. Thought it was a really great thing, but we don't want to just have the same thing year after year
Sure.
after year. So we will bring the light show back, like the Cincinnati Circus. We have them this year. We'll take a few years break from them, and we'll bring them back. Dinah Roy, we've had in the past. We've had them back twice now. We'll probably revisit them maybe next year, if not the year after, and bring them back. That way, it's just not the same thing. And
So with your new price change this year, that the musical groups, no charge for that. Be able to have that. The zoo, Cincinnati Zoo situation coming in, no charge for that. The car show, you can walk around there all day if you want. Maybe the parents want to do that while the kids play on the rides.
Absolutely.
And I think you mentioned before that you're actually going to have some rides where since you're going to have a wristband where the adults can get with the kids.
Absolutely. The ride company just bought a few more bigger rides. They have America Around, of course, the Ferris wheel. So there's one, and I think they have the Scrambler or something like that. That the parents can get on and ride with their kids, and even the little rides now they're building where the parents can ride with their children. So that's the good thing about that. Instead of them paying the wristband and maybe the child won't ride because mom won't go on a ride with them. Well, now because they have to pay the extra money to get that. Well, now what? Everybody's going to get a wristband. You mom and dad can sit with the kids and ride with the rides on certain rides. And
Lancaster, Ohio Community Days Festival. They got a Facebook page. You can look all that up. Eric Keener's been our guest. He's kind of heading it up. It's May 17th, 18th, and 19th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Lancaster Fairgrounds. Hope for beautiful weather out there. And the rest, I think you've got under control.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Eric Keener, Community Days Festival. Thanks for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.